side 5, the operator side. If you'll come in here and look at these, we've got shims. We've got a 25, a 24, a 13, a 14, and a 15,000 shim. This particular plug right here, the OD of it is 1/8 larger than the OD of the output shaft on side number 5. So that's 62.5 thousandths radially. So 25 and 24 is 59. I'm sorry, 25 and 24 is 49. Plus 13 would make 62. Or if you use a 14, that would make 63. Or if you use 15, that would be 64. So we're going to put 64 thousandths together and see if we can fit it underneath the Brown & Sharpe block again. And as you can see over here, we have a gauge to show us. It's set on 0 right now, and that's going to show us if we are pushing this in there too hard and making that bar flex. And as you can see, if you'll come over to this side over here, if I try to put 64 thousandths in, you can see it flex. So that's not the right shim. So we'll try 63 thousandths with a 14 thousandths feeler gauge. And we really get no movement right there. But as I get to right here, it gets tight on me. So I take that out and I use a 13 thousandths gauge, okay, which represents 62 thousandths, and I can go the whole length. I can go the whole length in and out with no movement of the gauge. Okay, so what does that tell us right there? At 62 thousandths, we're within a half thou of where we really need to be in respect to the front of the barrel. And then on this side, Heath, where were we? We were within a, this is a half thou, so we could say this is within a 63 at most, within a half thou low at most. And on this side, at most we're about 1 thousandth high. So that's very respectable when we're considering the front of the barrel. Now we're going to move on and put our alignment sleeves on that go into the plugs. And let me give you a piece of paper here. You can see this piece of paper. What Heath has done is put the numbers of the sleeves for side 5 and side 3, and he has put the numbers of the output shafts for side 5 and side 3 and side 5 and side 3 and side 5 of the plugs. So if we look at this, on side 3, which is this side right here, we have the ID of the sleeve is 2.753. The OD of the output shaft is 2.749. That's plus or minus 2 thousandths. Okay? Now, still on side 3, we are looking at the plug and the sleeve. The sleeve ID is 2.753, and the plug OD is 2.748. That's plus or minus 2.5 thou. Excuse me. Now we go over to side 5, and on side 5, the ID of the sleeve is 2.753. The OD of the output shaft on the transmission is 2.748. That's plus or minus 2.5. Now, this sleeve is a step sleeve, so the ID of this part of the sleeve is 2.874, and the OD of the plug is 2.873. That's just plus or minus 0.5 thou. So we expect that's going to be pretty snug on there. Okay, now what we're going to do, excuse me, we're going to make sure there is no dust or anything. Excuse me. We'll go ahead and take this gauge off. Got that nice indicator up there. We'll take these clamps off. Now these plugs have been seated in this barrel Okay. Put those away. We'll put our shims away for right now. Then we'll take our pins out. As you can see, the pins come in and out really easily. But as we move this barrel in and out, it still has the opportunity to go backwards and forwards. Because this detail up here, this detail right here has a slot in it. And so as we move this barrel in and out, it's going to move in that slot. We'll have to reposition. So we made sure everything was clean. And now we're going to pull it out. We're going to go ahead, make sure side 5 alignment sleeve is nice and clean. It is. Go ahead and put it on the output shaft. We're going to take side 3. Make sure it's nice and clean. Everything has been stoned, wiped down, polished to make sure that we don't have any debris, any nicks, anything like that getting in our way. We rotate it back. Okay. Take the sleeve, take the pin, wipe it down. Okay. That goes in there pretty good. That will take up. There we go. Take this here. Put this pin in. What we'll do is just make sure now it's got itself back in line where it needs to be. Okay? So we can show that those are moving where they need to be, and they're also pinned in position. The pinning of these eccentrics is actually the last thing we do. Excuse me. And how we do that, after we get everything set up, we rotate this to where the eccentric is tight against the pin. So we rotate it back. Looking at that line right there, we make a scribe on the furthest extent we can rotate the eccentrics. So we move it to the midpoint, and then we pin it. We do that for both the top and the bottom. So right now, excuse me, with the tolerances we gave you, with the bar, the Browning Sharp bar showing how close we were, we should be able to slide these couplings on here. And we're able to do it like that. Now this one has a very tight tolerance of that plus or minus half valve. So it's going to be a little bit snug to get on there. As you can see, as we come down there, it's a little bit snug, but it goes on there nice and smooth. And this one is nice and smooth too. So with those on there, we want to make sure our pins still come in and out very nicely. Which they do. If these sleeves were in a bind with the plugs and the output shaft, which we have seen in the past, these pins would not come out. They'd be very hard to come out. Once you relieve the binding on them, then your pins would be able to free up and come out. So one important thing is get your sleeves on there. We got our sleeves. Pins come in and out, nice and free. So everything is tightened down. Everything has been clean. What we'll move on to this point is actually putting in our screws. We can be assured now that everything is lined up where we want them. That's about it for right now.